Okay, a reminder that if you look down below the video in the description, we've got links. We've got the chapters that index this video that we're doing right now. So you can look through that to decide if you want to watch it or not. And then we got a link that has like a combination of those, like 3 years old. You can go look at that and search through it and find videos to watch on that. And other than that, I can't think of anything else I need to say. Oh, it's coming up on the time I need to go out to Slack and do a backup before 90 days expires. And if I do that within a few days, we will not miss anything there. So I'll try to get that done in the next few days. So that's and I'm not doing anything because I'm trying to move, so I'm not doing anything on robots. So let's see, Terry, do you need to leave early? Do you want to go first?
I can certainly do so.
Okay, we'll let Terry go first.
I've been very busy with my first robotics team, so I haven't done a whole lot, but I have been working on the CADing up the mounting for how the snow blower or snow thrower, excuse me, will be attached to the robot. And so let me see if I can share here. Hopefully you can see this.
Yes.
This is kind of the back of the thrower. I've got these supports, these in gray. I am going to make another support that'll go from here out to here and here out to here. This plate is kind of simulating how it will be attached to the robot. It'll hinge right here, and then this push rod will be used to pivot up and down. And that'll be on a lead screw. But this is not a this is just touching. It's not physically connected, so that I can pull this back and it'll be just the weight of the blower holding it down. But I'll be able to push it up. We'll see how that works. The other thing I'm working on right now is I'm making a quadrature encoder to go on this end of the shaft, so I can verify that, like, if it suddenly stops but the motor keeps spinning, I'll be able to know that. So if it gets caught by a rock or something like that. So I'm CADing that up.
Can you talk a little bit about your tabs on the bottom, how you've organized that design?
I'm kind of in the process of changing it right now because I got so many tabs. So what I'm starting to do is put subfolders. And let's see, I can do this. Oh, not this. So like the shroud and the hitch, or the blade folder. And then the blade folder has these design studios. Is that what you were asking?
Yeah. I mean, I'm just curious how you've obviously got a lot of detail and there's a lot of depth there. And I was just curious how you organized the parts. I mean, is this an assembly, or what you have on the screen, is that an assembly?
What you're seeing is an assembly.
And I'm just curious, do you design on the assembly tab, or do you create a part and then move it over to the assembly?
I normally create on the in the design studio, and then copy it over to and place it in the assembly. I have been starting to do some work with using the derived part.
Ooh.
in the studio. It's tricky to get things aligned. But for example, on my second. On the quadrature encoder, I've got, let's see, how can I move? I created my code wheel, and then here's the base assembly where I derived the collar from my library, and I derived these two IR interrupters from the library.
I'm just impressed as hell. That's a
And-
lot of that's a lot of CAD going on there.
And then because I'm planning on 3D printing this green holder for them, I did a split. So I created because I didn't want to have this overhang that would have to be supported. So I've got it split right here, and then I'm going to have a bolt coming up from the plate that it gets mounted on to hold that whole thing together.
Nice.
And right now I'm working on the circuit board that'll take these 8 inputs or 8 leads and then allow me to put a 4 connector wiring harness with plus 5 volts ground, channel A, channel B.
You want to, can you click on your encoder wheel again? Are you going to 3D print that, or what's your intention?
The plan is that I would 3D print that, yes.
How thick is where the encoder, the slots are? What thickness
That
did you?
part, let's see. .63, so it's 1/16 of an inch.
Nice. Very
Also,
impressed.
while you're talking about that encoder wheel, keep in mind that some of the plastic is transparent to infrared. So you might have to pick which kind of plastic you print it with to make sure it's gonna do the job. Maybe you can spray paint it when you're done to block the infrared. So that's just one more thing to think about. Don't get it all done and then find out that it's gonna bite you. So
Not getting any feedback.
Right. I actually on this one have the I had suppressed it. So there is with the code wheel on it.
That's awesome.
And this shaft here is this end right here. And there's that collar. So this will be the plate that this gets mounted on. And it will be extended around here. And then I'm planning on having the place to mount that circuit board kind of in this area, so that I can hardwire those wires here and then have a cable that I can plug in with a connector. And I was just starting to work with there's a feature script for wiring and cabling in OnShape, so that I'll be able to then show how to route the wire from here to where I'm planning on having a kind of some circuit area right here.
I know AutoCAD had the ability to design PCBs. I never tried to figure it out. Does OnShape, are you going to do your PCB design in OnShape?
Not really. They don't have the electronics PCB part of it. I'm kind of doing it old school. I created my board, extruded it, created one hole, extruded the hole to remove it, and then a linear pattern. And now I'm adding my 3 resistors, and this will be one of the 4-pin connector that I use.
Neat.
But I'm gonna see if I can 3-dimension this. Come on. It was showing the wire. So that'll be the 3 resistors in a 3D. And I'm gonna then bend the wire down to here. So we'll see how it comes.
Not that you need another tool to learn. I just put a URL in the chat for Easy EDA. That is a really lightweight PCB design tool with a nice library of parts. So it's not perfect, but I found it easier than that fritzing stuff.
I have been using Fusion 365 or 360 from Audit to do my PCB and schematics.
Yeah, they have a long history of being in the electronic space. So
right, and they took over. Can't think of the name of it that I used to use. Sure, I've got a link for. Oh, they took over Eagle. And so it's enough similarity that it was easy for me to pick up.
Nice.
But for this circuit, I mean, it's 3 resistors. It's the LED power limiter, a current limiter, and then 2 pull-up resistors for the photo transistors. And then this will just be the power, ground, channel A, channel B. And then here is where I'll have probably either 2 connectors for going to the 2 interrupters, or I may just have them hardwired. I haven't decided yet.
Very nice.
But that's kind of where I'm at. I'm hoping to start 3. I did get some PETG filament, but I'm having a heck of a time printing with it. I need to figure out what all the settings need to be to get it to work right with mine. I think it's also absorbed some moisture from just the air. So I have to figure out how I can dry that out
Just to run a test, Fusion 360, I mean, no, I don't, maybe a year ago or so, they added, they call it adaptive manufacturing, I think, in their documentation. And I just used the settings, the default settings for a Prusa. I happen to have a Prusa 3D printer, and their default settings for PETG worked fine for me, because I had fought mightily with PETG as well in the past. And for me, the ultimate rule was keep getting hotter, because it just wanted to be hotter than what I would have normally ran. But the Fusion 360 defaults worked for me as well.
I'm getting a lot of, well, let's see.
Stringing.
Flaking.
No, I could live with the flaking. It was the stringiness that was always a pain in the backside for me. Especially if you have small holes, because it would fill up the holes like your encoder wheel.
So I don't know how well this.
Here, let me turn off sharing.
Let's see here. All of this infill is just strings.
Mm.
And I mean, at least there's no warping, but the piece that was trying to print there was this piece.
I started sharing, so your sharing got turned off.
Oh, okay. Well, never mind.
No, I want to see the piece.
Oh. The piece that I was trying to draw was this one.
Still not sharing.
Oh, gotta press that button. Let's see. Nope, not that one.
Will OnShape create an STL file?
Yes. You can, let's see.
Do they have default settings? I mean, have they preloaded some defaults for common printers?
Well, what I do is I use this 3MF and load that then into Cura.
So Cura does your slicing.
Yeah. It seems to give me a lot more control over what gets over those various settings. And they've got a direct link into OnShape.
Nice.
One of the coaches for the other coaches for the robotics team does a lot of 3D printing, not with PETG, but with PLA and ABS, and really likes the control that it gives him.
Nice.
But that's about it.
Well, on my side, I'll go quickly. I had posted a few things to Slack. It's basically just thinking about version 2 of the tractor and where to mount things. And there happens to be a linear actuator there, which was the primary reason that I was looking at these, where I wanted to try to put that in order to control the hydrostatic transmission that's back there. And in the process, I had handcrafted these posts or straps out of flat bar, and one thing led to another, and I've got a guy who's willing to cut out flat bar and bend it for me on his plasma cutter, and then add that to Terry's OnShape prowess. I thought, I'll go try to see if I can learn OnShape. I was familiar with Fusion 360, and so I have been in the process of getting the dimensions off of the tractor and figuring out where to put things. What that looks like at the moment is this would be a stick figure to Terry's fluted and multiple, he's going to wear out the computer with so many parts, but here's my stick figure so far. And I was just trying to figure out where the gas tank would sit. And then next step is to try to figure out where the GPS would be held. And so I was going to try to get a meter of distance between the, what do we call that in the ROS world? This
Base link.
spot. There you go. I was trying to get put the GPS over base link and then get it up a meter. And I think to come up a meter, I'll probably have to be on top of the gas tank. So designing a part, I'm trying to stick with using flat bar to keep the manufacturing easy and just simple bins for the guy who's going to help me get this put together. But that's where I'm at so far. And I put the link to the design in Slack and just tested being able to get to it. And that seemed to work. So that's pretty cool. So I could actually, I think, share that with my.
Can you copy that link and put it and paste it into chat?
Sure. So that might end up being useful to communicate with the guy who's going to be cutting it. Why am I not getting back to there's chat. If somebody would click on that just to make sure it works, I would appreciate it. So anyway.
How are you liking OnShape?
Well, it certainly seems to be easier for me to have multiple parts, and then I haven't pulled it over to the assembly yet. That's why I've just been doing everything in the part studio, but in the YouTube stuff that I've watched, it seemed to be pretty straightforward. So I would say all in all pretty well. But I do spend a fair amount of time saying, okay, this is how I did it in Fusion 360. How do I do it over here? And
right.
Copying parts and placing the parts seems to be like a piece of cake in OnShape, where I seem to recall struggling with getting parts to made up in Fusion 360 and whatnot. So
when you get to the assemblies, that's where you'll find they make it somewhat easy, but if you've got a piece that has like 3 holes and you're trying to line it up with another piece that has 3 holes, that can sometimes be difficult.
Yeah.
Or tricky, I'll put it that way.
So it's been interesting, and I haven't put wheels or anything on there, but because I don't have an immediate need to do that, but I could see this, continuing to use this as things come up, but it's been fun.
Good.
Thanks for the push, the nudge, the challenge. And I continue to be like damn impressed with all your parts and how you've got them assembled and fused together like that. That's pretty cool.
It's been a learning opportunity.
Jeff, could you click on that URL?
I clicked on it and that does work. It does come up.
It does?
Yes.
Okay, cool. think that's it for me for recording.